everyone, and welcome to Big League Bourbon. Tonight we're doing a Monday night show. It's a little bit special as it's not our normal night, but tonight we're bringing in current AA pitcher for the Houston Astros AA affiliate Corpus Christi Hooks, Brandon Lawson. Brandon will be on his way with us here in a few minutes. He's actually on his way back from dinner, and will be here as soon as he can. But for now, say hi to all the guys that are in the chat that have come out to say hey to us. We've got Bourbon in the house. What's up, DC? Tim Evans, Lord Shane Long. What's going on? So lots of guys in here. I'm thankful that you're coming out. I hope you're enjoying the content we're putting out. If you don't know, later tonight, I'm also going to be going on Instagram Live. I got challenged by Evening Dram to put out a baseball lineup card of different bourbons 1 through 9 that have different subjects. So we'll be going live over on Instagram. You can follow me there at Big League Bourbon. And we're going to put out a little list following up what he did last night. Adam put out a great list of different bourbons, such as opener, always a hit, hitters, big hitters, just awesome, Weeder, blended, double barrel, and crafty. So I'll be sharing my lineup tonight with that as well. Hey, Richie Z's in the house. Nice to see you, Richie. You got Mike Franklin in here as well. Hey, Cheech. What's going on? We should drink until he gets here. Yeah, we could do that. That's not a problem. But right now, I'm on a little coffee, so I can do that live right afterwards. So what's in everybody's glass? I know Shane Long's got something in his glass tonight. What are you drinking, Shane? Gotta let us know. Bourbon Neophyte in the house. What's going on? Look at this. I'm getting a good crowd on a Monday night here. Liking this. Definitely liking this. See, Brandon was almost back to the hotel, so we should see him here pretty soon. If you don't know Brandon's background, Brandon was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 12th round out of University of South Florida. Played with the Rays for a couple years before moving on to the San Francisco Giants organization. And he was with them up until last year when COVID hit. And the San Francisco Giants were one of the teams that decided that they were going to let several of their minor leaguers go instead of continuing to pay them while the season was deciding if it was going to be on hold or if there was going to be a minor league season. Unfortunately, Brandon was one of the guys that was let go, and he recently just hooked on with the Houston Astros and was assigned to their AA affiliate in Corpus Christi. He did finish his previous season with the AAA Fresno Grizzlies in the Pacific Coast League for the Giants, and was one of the pitchers that was brought up for the playoffs for them. So here's Brandon coming in live from the hotel. Here we go. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, man?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on tonight with us. And for those of you guys that don't know, Brandon also has a Instagram channel or show that he's working on called Major League Baseball. So tonight we got a little Big League Bourbon and Big League Bourbon and Major League Bourbon, correct?
Yeah, very close. And it's quite funny to see you on there and be like, I double took at the name, and I'm like, man, those are two really close things.
That's exactly the same thing I did when I saw yours yesterday when I was bouncing around on here. I'm like, oh, all right, I like this. I got to get this guy on the channel. So yeah. This is definitely awesome to get you on here and be able to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. So, Brandon, how long have you been into bourbon?
I am pretty much brand new into it. I got introduced into bourbon about 6 months ago, about October, November or so. And I think from everyone that gets into it, you get into this deep black hole really quick and you don't find your way out. But I've enjoyed every part of it, and all the experiences that I've made through it, and the people I've met through it have been really, really awesome. So it's been a fun journey so far. I'm looking forward to what comes through it next.
Yeah, the bourbon community is fantastic. As you find out, as you continue your journey, when you start popping in on some of these different YouTube live shows, some of the different Instagram channels that go live as well, the community is awesome. Everybody takes care of each other. It is honestly the closest thing that I've come across since my baseball career ended. It's like having a clubhouse once again, even though it's not baseball, it's bourbon.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's amazing. I can't beat it. So I see that you also have been involved on a couple picks. You're early in your bourbon journey, and you're already out there with some groups making some picks. You want to tell us about some of those that you've done?
Yeah. So I had a lot of free time in the off season and stuff. So I think getting into it and trying to learn my ways through it, I went to a lot of different stores throughout the Nashville area where I'm based, and so I made a lot of different relationships, doing a lot of footwork, trying to find different bottles. But overall, I kind of finally found like who I want to be going to, and there's two stores I did 2 barrel picks with. Actually, back to back was quite funny. But first barrel pick that I did was with Tim Brinkman over at Brinkman's Wine Spirits in Brentwood, Tennessee. We had gone up to Strong Spirits up in Bardstown and did a barrel pick with Backbone for
Very nice.
two different picks over there. A Martinique barrel, and then A&K Cooperage barrel as well. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was exciting. I mean, it was quite it was fun because you get to see all that for the first time, but also is quite not. There was 12 different barrels to choose from, and you got your first time, you're like, man, like, do I drink all this? And then go from barrel to barrel, and you're gonna feel it after. That's kind of what I went through the first time, but that was an awesome experience getting to go up there and do that. And then actually the next day, I went with another store over in my area who invited me to go to Jack Daniels, and Jack Daniels is always a good time. I went over there for 2 different, just tours and stuff like that before, but actually getting to do like the behind the scenes type of stuff and do an actual barrel pick was awesome over there and close to home and stuff. So
That's great. There's nothing like coming out of the box hot and being able to go on some barrel picks. You get the true experience from the top to the bottom once you get to do that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What a start.
Yeah, it's been fun.
What was your intro to bourbon? What was the start that got you into the whole bourbon craze and got you hooked and addicted to it here, like the rest of us?
I've always been a big beer guy, and then just all of a sudden, my future brother-in-law, he's been big into bourbon for a while, and he always tried to inch it my way and stuff. And finally, I took to it and started off with it. And I got introduced hot. He was a big Russell's fan, big Makers fan as well. So I got introduced about 110, 115, and I don't know. I just started to fall in love with it and kind of see all the different varieties that bourbon and whiskey have and stuff. And it's just been love at first sight, and I've taken off with it. So, but it's been fun.
It's great. I also started with the beer and then made my way over to the bourbons, and the bourbons were more so a mixed drink that then turned into drinking it neat and starting this huge collection behind me and finding a great community and having a good time.
Yeah. I was same way. I mean, pretty much, old fashions and whiskey sours and stuff. And then you make your way to, just a nice cube in there. And then now it's, nothing but neat is the only way I'll drink it. So it's cool to see. Cool to see the how time changes it all. That's for sure.
It is, and as it evolves, it just gets better and better. And like you said, you get farther and farther down the rabbit hole. But it's a very interesting rabbit hole.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
To say the least, that's for sure. I've had to go from an inside bar to building myself a garage bar too, just for some leftovers over space already 6 months into this. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like a few years into this.
Oh, it'll grow. It'll grow. Trust me. I've moved my collection from upstairs, having a small upstairs bar, into converting half of my office over into studio / bourbon bar. So
Oh yeah.
it's fun. It's fun, and it
No, it
just keeps
is.
on growing. It doesn't seem to
Mm-hmm.
stop. So I did see a post earlier today. I've got to give you credit for this too, because if only I would have been into bourbon while I was playing baseball, it would have made those bus rides better. I did see that you had the 7-hour trip and had a companion with you, a little
Oh
Maker's
yeah.
Mark FAE 01.
Got my little FAE right here. So yeah, it was good to bring her along for the journey and keep me company. But yeah, it's nice. I mean, those bus trips get lonely, and it's good to have a little companion and makers with me. So, um, but yeah.
That would definitely make some of those bus rides way better. I remember some of the bus rides back in the New York Penn League coming in at 12 to 14 hours. Man,
Oh yeah.
a couple nice drams would have made that a lot more tolerable than
Mm-hmm.
sitting there playing. I don't mind playing cards the whole time and making some money on the way, but a
Yeah.
couple drams would have made it that much better for
Oh yeah.
sure.
Yeah. New York Penn
So
League's where I started out as well. I started out with
is it
Hudson
okay?
Valley up there, and but yeah, I mean, you start in the minor leagues, and you're those younger guys and stuff, 18, 21, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you grow older, you get a little more comfortable. You get in Double A and stuff. Then you finally, coaches are a little bit more lenient, have beer on the bus, stuff like that, cards,
Right.
but yeah, it's nice to be back and be able to enjoy it with some bourbon along the way.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you've been
I lost you there. I'm not hearing
on the
anything
bourbon
right now, my man.
review. There we go. Looks like the feed's back. You hear me again?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Looks like StreamYard had another little glitch there. So what I was saying to everybody that's just coming in, we've gained a couple more viewers here. If you don't know, Brandon is a current pitcher for the Houston Astros minor league team in Double A with the Corpus Christi Hooks, and has been playing now for, was this your fifth year?
Year 6, I believe, or season
Six.
6. So
Okay. Right on. Right on. So when we were introing, I'm gonna skip around here. Let me grab a little baseball here. So one of the interesting things when I was checking out your career and stuff, what I told everybody before you got in here was last season, a whole new president for everyone in baseball, let alone the minor leagues, actually skipping their first season ever. So you, unfortunately, were a casualty in the Giants system when they decided to release, I want to say it was 21 players right away, instead of continue to pay you guys before they knew if there was going to be a season or not be a season, while other teams like the Athletics and the Royals, which were small market teams, actually kept their guys on the payroll and didn't let anybody go. You want to talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough going through. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at it as a business, and every team but those 2 or 3, kind of kept their players. But me being an older guy, I think I was on a 1 or 2 year contract with the Giants, so my time was coming up with them, and they wanted to save money just like they did on a lot of people. Even though the money wasn't too expensive to keep around at $400 a week, but
Right.
no hard feelings with that, but it just made you a little bit more hungry than ever to get back, and you got that itch to get back and do whatever that you need to do it. So it was a good time off. I mean, it was a hard time off, but it was a good time to kind of recollect yourself, collect your thoughts, and what you really want to do with your life, and I'm lucky to be back, and I'm not lucky. I put a lot of hard work into it, and I've had a lot of support behind me with my wife and my family and my friends and everything. Keep pushing me, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that the Houston Astros have given me now, and looking forward to running with it. So make the best of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I did see when you were looking to get picked back up, you went out there, you got on Pitching Ninja's new app that he had out there, or not app, but I guess I would say his new Twitter feed. Got some great comments that were made by Tom House on your behalf. That was awesome to see.
No.
Kudos on that. I watched a lot of tape on you the last couple of days. Very impressive run on that sinker.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's the bread and butter. I've always been a big fan of Greg Maddux, and obviously no one can, make that happen again. But I try my best to, kind of follow his suit with the sinker. And but each day you learn and try to get better. But yeah,
definitely. Well, you've got a great combo there with that sinker, and then busting out that 11-5, 12-6 at times curveball. That's you got the ball moving in different directions. You've got a great pitching plane, good tunneling going on. So definitely not someone that I would think a lot of guys want to come up and face.
No, I pitched a contact. I know who I am as a pitcher now. Kind of going to the pro ball, I didn't really know. But as you go on, you learn more about yourself and understand it. I'm not going to be a big strikeout guy. I know I need to get strikeouts when I need to, but my job is to go and get the first 2 strikes and try to get you out in 3 pitches or less. Ground balls are my specialty. Last year was 53% ground ball rate. So I think that's 20% above the MLB average type of stuff.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But there's a lot more that goes into it and stuff. Just trying to, like you said, tunnel pitches and, really learn how to pitch rather than just throw up there. But yeah, so I'm continue to learn each and every day that I'm out there.
So you talked about pitch tunneling. Can you explain to the crowd a little more about pitch tunneling? I'm very familiar being a pitcher as well as coaching these days. But if you could explain to our guests a little more about pitch tunneling and the importance of your different variety of pitches as that works in.
Pitch tunneling's, it's pretty simple when you think about it. I'm wanting everything to come out of the same tunnel, the same arm path. So my 2-seam, my 4-seam, changeup, slider, curveball, you kind of want it all coming out of the same path. So that way the hitter sees the same pitch out of your hand for majority of the way. But, once you get to those last 15, 20 feet, everything starts to break different ways. So it becomes a lot harder for him to see. So that's the hardest part about it, is just trying to learn how to create everything in the same tunnel. Because you try to overcomplicate things, and things get out of whack with your delivery and your arm path of trying to work the ball different ways. But yeah, tunneling, it's been a big part of the game for a while now. But it's something that, like, going into college pro ball, you never kind of thought of. You're just up there pitching, but it plays into a big part of the game these days, because these hitters are smart with, especially the game becoming so analytical and so technological these days, of all the iPad work and stuff that guys are seeing and whatnot. But yeah, it's a quick little snippet of it.
Yeah, the last guest I had on, Brandon Marsters, who used to be a catcher, me and him talked about the evolution of the scouting reports and the advanced scouting reports. We used to get one sheet back in the day, if we were lucky, that told us what was going on, what pitches guys had weaknesses in, compared to some of the scouting reports we've been privy to over the last couple of years. You guys got books on guys and tendencies and day game, night game. Like, the analytics game has completely changed everything, and it's made pitching a lot different. Like you said, when you're coming up, you don't think about pitch tunneling. You don't think about all these things. You think about, I'm pitching, I'm getting outs. I'm going to bust them inside. I'm going to have a big breaker. I'm going to do my job. So when was the first time that you really got into understanding yourself as a pitcher? Has it been in the last couple of seasons where you've busted more into that pitch tunneling and more of that thought process, or did it start instantly once you got into the minor leagues?
I would really say the turn where I really had to where understanding as me as a pitcher myself would be 2019, right after the All-Star break. Going into All-Star break, I had a 4.3 as a starter. Not bad, not great, but I really felt like I needed to just, transition my career and try to, start to flourish from there. So, I started to pay attention a little bit more of tunneling and, the tendencies, and pay a little more attention to, all these scouting reports, and just learning myself as a pitcher, what I need to do up there rather than trying to be someone who I'm not. So that's really when things started to take off for me. That second half, I had a 3 ERA to finish out the year and stuff in the second half. So I just really started to understand like what my pitches do, and where I need to put them in certain situations. And that's really when I started to see my career, take a turning point. But then, COVID happened and stuff like that for the following year. And it was kind of tough mentally, because I'm like, man, like I really took the turn in my career here. And then now it's just, kind of taken away from me. And so, but, same mindset's there now. I feel like I'm one of the older guys here, which, I'll take it. But, I'm here to help others, but also keep learning from some of these younger guys and some of the older guys that have been here, and, learn something new every day.
That's great. So, like you said, with COVID, it was a year off. What did you do to stay involved? I mean, it was hard. A lot of people weren't interacting with each other. What did you do to stay in shape and keep on working on your craft, and to keep yourself ready when somebody came knocking on the door for that next opportunity?
2020 was a roller coaster. And, as soon as my contract ended with the Giants and stuff, luckily I had signed a contract to go play over in Mexico. But the funny thing about that was, COVID was still happening over there, all the visas, everything, like trying to get people over. That season ended up canceling out. So then, I'm left with, ground zero, like what's going to happen for the following year. Am I going to play winter ball? Am I going to, maybe get picked back up? So, I had a few months to kind of just let go and give my arms some rest and stuff, and kind of build the body up. So I continued to work out, didn't really throw too much, but me and my wife at that point, we were interested in getting our first home, buying our first home. So I ended up having to go work up in Missouri for 2 months in order to buy our first home in September. So we bought our first home, and then I came back here, did some baseball lessons, and then I worked job to job, just trying to figure out what was going to be best for me, like to work my life, baseball, and be able to, kind of make some money at the same time. And, I worked with AT&T for a little bit. I did, the concrete and contracting. I did Amazon HR. I did Lululemon. And then finally, right up until I got signed here a week ago, I was doing home remodeling. But, kind of from October is when I started my throwing program again. Started throwing probably the last week of November, like off the mound. Trying to get video out there to my agent, to scouts, all that stuff. Took a couple trips down to Florida there in January and February to go get in front of some scouts. Still at that time, they didn't know that season was going to start on time. I mean, obviously you saw AAA got pushed back to, a month later. So, nothing really happened there. So, in my mind, I'm like, what's going to be happening here? Am I going to be able to get picked up? Because people weren't really signing guys up until really this past week or two. Where I've started to see a little bit of a turn for guys getting signed. But it's tough mentally on me to know, like, is my career done? But mentally I know that I'm not done. But it's just like, is baseball giving up on me? Is it spit me out already and it doesn't want me back? But I just kept working as much as I could, trying to do the home remodeling, throw on the side, have a family life at home and stuff. So, luckily, last week on Friday, Astros, came calling and offered me a job. And, it's everything I've been working for this entire year. And, hungrier than ever. So.
Yeah, that's it too. I'm excited to see what you do this season because I'll tell you one thing, man, that hunger, that's definitely going to take you a long way because the guys that are hungry in this game are the guys that flourish.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a lot.
I've seen a lot of guys in this game, first rounders to undrafted guys. I mean, those first rounders and high draft picks, I mean, they sit there and, some of them work hard and, just like anyone, some of them work hard, some of them don't. And, I've seen, those guys get thrown out and stuff from baseball. And I've seen, guys that, were undrafted in 2016 with me that are up in the big leagues, Mike Brasso with the Rays. He's one of them. That's an awesome story. So, it's like the saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So, I mean, that's really the epitome of the game. I mean, the second that you don't take it serious, it's going to bite you in the butt. That's for sure.
Yeah. Baseball is one of those games that if you don't respect it, it's not going to play fair to you. That is definitely the truth. And I saw the same things you did. Some amazing talent that was undrafted. I saw some amazing first round talent that just didn't work and just thought, I'm a first rounder, I got it made. But then again, I played with other guys who are first rounders that, they were there before anybody else. They were there at the end of the day. It just depends on how bad you want it, and you definitely find out what kind of person someone is once you get in that clubhouse the first time and you start seeing their work ethic. It's eye-opening. That's for sure.
It really is. It really is.
So what's one piece of advice you would give an aspiring pitcher, that's up and coming, in the high school level, maybe just starting their college out? What would you tell them as one piece of advice that you've picked up since you've been in minor league baseball?
I mean, really, it's just, I keep it simple. I mean, I don't look too hard in this stuff. I mean, just be a good person, be a good teammate, continue to always want to learn each and every day. Don't set your mind off to anything to where you think everything, because the second that you think you do, baseball is going to humble you real quick. Don't take baseball for granted, because you never know when the last time that, you're going to step foot on that diamond. But, just go out there and have fun, enjoy the game, because, once this game, becomes work, then, that's when things get to be a lot tougher for yourself. But, like I said, just go out there and then enjoy it, have fun, and always want to, continue to learn. And the success will come if those three things are part of it.
That's awesome. One of our guests, Tim Evans, asked, what was it like getting that phone call?
I mean, it was everything. I mean, it took me by surprise. I got a text, I think Thursday, asking about my agent's info and stuff, and if I was still around. And Friday came a call, and just out of the blue, I got a call from an unknown caller from Houston, Texas, and they said they want to offer me a job. And it's like a little kid in a candy shop again. It's everything that you dream of, just like draft day. It's everything that you dream of. And, it was exciting to be able to have all my family there around me in Tennessee and stuff, and be able to call them right away and go see them the following day and, kind of celebrate and, send me off. So, that was definitely everything.
That's great. So my question to you on that, which phone call was better, draft day phone call or the unexpected phone call getting back into the game?
I mean, I would say the unexpected one. I think draft day was, in my mind at that time, expected from what I did that year. I kind of, heard from where I was going to go and, round wise, all that type of stuff. But, being out of the game and not knowing if you're ever going to get back, I think that phone call meant the most to me so far, being able to get that opportunity again and, now ready to get running with it and, take full control of my career and give everything I got.
That's great. That is. So are you starting or are you relieving? What's your new role with this team?
I believe as of right now, I'll probably be like mid relief role. As soon as I got activated on this past Friday, I actually threw a bullpen before the game, and then pitching coach asked me, "Hey, like, would you be available if we need you in emergency?" So, I'm sitting in the hotel for the past 5 days doing all the COVID protocols, all the MRIs, the tests, all that stuff, physicals. So first day I get activated, I'm out there throwing, coach asked me if I need to go in. So you're thinking like, I'm not going to get in. So what happens? We go into extra innings, 10th, 11th inning. So first day I'm activated, I get in the game. And I did pretty well. I did my job. It was awesome. I threw 2 innings, 1 hit, and the extra inning rule kind of got me with the guy, sitting on second base.
Yeah.
So, things didn't happen. That's the way baseball works. But tomorrow's another day. But as of right now, I'll be mid relief. Hopefully, work my way back in the starting rotation. But just got to take one day at a time and do what I need to do to help this team. So, that's all I'm looking forward to do is just getting out there, competing and doing everything that I can to be successful myself as well as, my team first. So, but.
Right on. So next question, you talked about the extra inning rule. That's one thing we talk about on this show all the time. We got your gist on that, I'm pretty sure. So what is your take on some of the other new rules? We watched Madison Bumgarner throw a no-hitter, but it was just considered a complete game and not a no-hitter since it was 7 innings. What's your take on Major League Baseball calling 7 innings a complete game, but not a no-hitter?
I mean, I think they're the ones that are making these rules as far as, it being a 7-inning game. So, with that, if you're going to make it if that's a full entire game, I mean, a no-hitter is a no-hitter. 7 innings or not.
Right.
But I mean, there's some good for baseball coming, and then there's just something that just doesn't kind of make sense to me. But I mean, you just kind of got to live with it and see the changes. I mean, there's been so many changes in baseball over these past 5 years. So
right. So some of the other crazy stuff coming in through the Atlantic League, talking about going to the 18-inch bases, which are going to cut down, going between first and second, cut down 6 inches. Any takes on those?
I've heard from a few others that were in the independent ball that didn't play like too much of a difference. The one I was kind of worried about the most myself, kind of because I was signed to go to independent ball with the American League and stuff, was the whole like moving the mound back 2 feet. That was gonna be a big one. I mean, I've heard guys that they played with the where you can run on a drop strike or a drop ball and all that stuff. You can just you can steal first.
Yeah, the steal first rule. Yes.
Yeah. I think some of that's crazy. I mean, baseball, has been played the same way for over 100 years. There's no reason that we need to change it.
Right.
People who, you're trying to speed up the game, but I mean, I just feel like the people who understand the game, like kind of enjoy that aspect of it. People who don't enjoy the game are the ones that are wanting it to speed up the process and all that stuff, but that's just not a part of the game. Like the whole no pickoff thing or, limited pickoffs. The guy starting on second base. I mean, it's not Little League anymore. You're messing with guys' careers and lives and, stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, if I got to play with it, we're going to, make it work and, try to have some success with it. So.
Right. So a question would be, in the limited pickoff rule, I don't know if you got to see it in the game or not, but you only get to throw over 2 times in a game. So I haven't seen it happen yet, but I'm waiting for it to happen. What happens after the 2 pickoffs go over to first? You got a runner on. Are we just going to start to see these guys walk over to second and wait for you to pitch to step on second? Is that what's going to happen?
I believe so. I haven't seen it personally yet in the 4 games I've been a part of, but I'm sure we will here shortly, and we're going to see something be made of it. But I'm not looking forward to that. Personally, it may not affect me as much because I'm not a big pickoff guy. I'm not I feel like I'm always been pretty quick to the plate, pay attention to my running game, and give my catcher the best option. But I mean, some of these runners are going to start to get a lot smarter, knowing what they can and can't do now, and take advantage of it. So we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch it up again. We're still on baseball here, but we got Tim Evans asked another great question. What is your favorite strikeout that you've had so far in your career?
I would say my personal favorite strikeout I've had was when I was up with Durham. I had struck out Acuna. I'd say that's my claim to fame so far. Acuna and Dante Bichette Jr. When he was in high A. But thoughts on Pujols? I mean, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. Big Cardinals fan growing up. So my brother played against him in college when he was at Maplewood Community College there. Been lifelong, Cardinals fan, and always been the biggest fan of him growing up because he just plays the game right. Everything you dream of in a baseball player, he is. And it sucks to see him kind of go out that way. Does someone give him that treatment that he doesn't deserve? I think there's been plenty,
especially as more of the details come out, how it really went down. It's saddening for the game of baseball to have somebody that has meant so much to the game over the past 18, 19 years to find out that a disagreement turned ugly, and now we watch a first ballot Hall of Famer get ushered right out the door a couple hours later.
Yeah. I mean, it sucked for me to see him leave St. Louis, but it's probably the better for him getting into his later years and knowing that he's going to be a DH and all that type of stuff. So I understand a little bit more now, but I mean, just for the business aspect, I don't think it was the right thing to do. I think you hold on to him for the rest of the year. I mean, there's been worse people in my mind type of thing that have held on to contracts and stuff like that throughout the year when they shouldn't have. But,
right.
It's just a sad day and for baseball, and to see all this kind of happening to probably one of the greatest players we'll ever see. So
yeah, Aiden Craig asked real quick. He didn't see what happened to Pujols. For a quick update, Pujols came in the other day. He was supposed to be in the starting lineup. He found out he wasn't going to be starting, and that Joe Madden was looking to have him just be a bench player from here on out. He got into a bit of a verbal argument with Joe Madden, as well as general manager and some more of the front office staff. Things didn't go so well, and they decided a couple hours later that the relationship with Joe Madden in the front office was fractured enough that instead of let him play out his final year of his contract, that they just put him on waivers and released him a couple hours after the altercation happened. And none of the other players on the team even knew what was going on. Mike Trout himself found out that Pujols had been released when he asked another player why Albert was going around hugging people and shaking hands in the clubhouse before the game. So kind of a rough situation to see one of the best players, like we were just saying, be walked out the door for a business decision and not rightfully had that big farewell tour like we've seen Derek Jeter or Big Papi or some other guys recently. On the other hand, he didn't announce he was going to retire because Albert still feels in his mind that he can play a couple more years and has always wanted to hit that 700 home run mark. So didn't announce he was going to retire. So he didn't have anything to kind of hold over their head to force their hand. So unfortunately, we've seen him now be released and hoping for another home to play. But like I said, it's sad.
I mean, I feel someone's going to give him a chance. Not, he doesn't need a chance. Someone's just going to, pick him up because of who he is as a person and a teammate. That's what I think like they're missing out on the most is just, whether he's, putting up the numbers he used to or not, like he means more to the team than, his numbers do. He means, more as a person, more as a teammate, helping these other younger guys out as young as, LA is and stuff. That's just the hardest part to see and understand that, why it all went that way so fast.
Yeah, it definitely is. So back to you. What is your best memory so far from baseball?
Just really like all the relationships and memories that I've made throughout it all. At the end of the day, it's not, people aren't going to remember you for the numbers that you put up. I mean, some will and stuff, but for the most part, people aren't going to remember you for what you did on the baseball field. They're going to remember you for the person that you are, and the way that you treated them and stuff. So I just, some of the, some of my best friends and stuff are from baseball, and some of the best memories and stuff are from baseball. But there's not really a single one that I could pick out too much. It's just, the experience of it all, really.
Yeah, it's something special. And until you're there, and even while you're playing, like where you're at right now in your career, it's hard to pick out those defining moments. I know for me, it's easier to look back in retrospect after I've been out of the game now for 20 some years as I get old here, but it's hard to define that moment. Sometimes there are those defining moments that'll just always stick out because we have them right away, whether it's a no-hitter or some major moment winning a championship. But if it isn't one of those moments, it's something that we'll reflect on later in our career that will actually come out. So that being said, what are your expectations for this season?
My expectations are just, go out there, compete, be who I am, continue to grow each and every day, start, relief appearance, whatever, obviously put up some, good numbers, hopefully move up to AAA here, whether that comes in a month or at the end of the season, whatever the team needs me to do. I want to get comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I've been, I've heard that a lot over my life, and it's started to really, as you get older, it starts to really like take a hold of your mind, as a pitcher, because you need to, especially, first time in over a year, the first time I get back on the mound, I'm, in the 10th inning, a guy on second base, no outs, just thrown right in the fire. So, but, looking at it, even going into that situation, I'm like, I wouldn't want it any other way. Of getting back into baseball is just be thrown right in the fire. And, seeing what you're made of. So that's really, I want this team to, see happen with me this year, is just kind of see what I'm made of, throw me in these different situations, see that I'm able to be versatile. Cause I think that's the thing these days, teams are going to the more versatile role rather than, someone who can either, just play first base or just, be a starting pitcher, be able to, be put in these different situations and have success and, play a more vital role in the organization or the team. So that's really where I want to be with Astros.
And that's great, because as we've seen, so many things have changed so much. We've seen different teams start with what they call now the opener, where starters actually come in after. We've also seen starters starting to go shorter amount of innings as we have different specialists that come in. Major League Baseball's thrown that wrinkle that you have to face 3 batters now as a reliever, which changed that up a little bit. Like you said, that versatility goes a long way. If you can be the middle relief guy, the long guy, or, you can come in and close out a game. You look at somebody like Liam Hendricks. He's throwing that sinker just like you're throwing, and is one of the most effective closers there are right now. Because if you can keep that ball on the ground in the late innings, that's as good as gold. So, it can definitely go all those ways. So we got a couple questions here. Shane Long asks, and I clicked the wrong one. That's always good. Who was your pitching idol growing up? His was Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens.
Those are 2 good ones for sure. Growing up a Cardinals fan, I was always into Wainwright, Roy Halladay, just the doctor that he was. Like I said, Greg Maddux was someone I really tried to, emulate myself after. When I started getting to college, I kind of saw who I kind of resembled. I mean, people kind of told me it. But as far as like Sonny Gray or Jake Arrieta, that 2015 mark, just the way that my body and the way that the ball came out of my hand is kind of something that like was similar to them. Not saying that I am who they are for sure, but there's similarities that I could play myself after. But it's awesome to see, like, even up to now, like, DeGrom and what he's able to do on a daily basis. I mean, it's just unbelievable what, baseball is these days. Everyone throwing 100 miles an hour. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, the most consistent idol in my life, I would say, would be Greg Maddux or Adam Wainwright. Just, two consistent pitchers over their entire careers, and just what they're able to do with the ball. And so.
Now, has there been a moment in your career, like a starstruck moment, where you've run into somebody that you had been looking up to during your college time and have seen in big league spring training, or have got to play with via rehab assignment for them, or just from being in AA or AAA?
I would say, I've ran into Chris Archer, Odorizzi. Did I run anyone with the Giants? Not so much the Giants. I haven't really run into any pitchers in like rehab assignments too much, honestly. The past spring training in 2020, he's not a pitcher, but I did run into Barry Bonds and was able to meet him. So, I mean, that's obviously, one of the greatest hitters of all time, and, being able to be around him. But yeah, I mean, off my mind, I mean, I haven't really run into anyone as far as that aspect goes.
Okay. Now, playing off that as well, if there is one person, past, present, someone coming up, is there anyone that you would want to sit down with and just be able to talk shop that you've never had the opportunity to?
I mean, I would have to go with, Maddux or Wainwright. Just, pick their mind and kind of like go off of how they've went about things throughout their career, the adjustments that they've had to make, and just kind of pick their brains. I mean, it's something that you always want to, ask someone and stuff as your idol, what made them, and like the adjustments that they had made throughout their career in order to stay, who they are. So.
Definitely. Now, Whiskey Nose asks, who's the one guy right now you would like to face the most?
I would really like to. Take a rematch with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had put some really good at bats off of me in high A when I was with the Rays. He, as big as a power hitter he is, you don't think of the at bats that he puts up. He's a tough at bat, just like his dad was.
Yeah.
He's got such good plate discipline. He'd work the count from 0-2 to 3-2, and then the next thing you know, he's on first base already with a walk. So, it's something that, you see all these big prospects coming through, and you want to take advantage of the situation to make a name for yourself, saying, like, knowing that, you can put these big guys down. So I think that's probably the one that stands out to me the most right now.
Nice. So who has been your best teammate or coach throughout your career?
My best coach would have to be my high pitching coach, Doc Watson.
I had the same pitching coach.
No way.
Yeah, I had Doc Watson when I was in the Pittsburgh system. So that is awesome. So you definitely know about him in the knuckleballs and being able to throw a slider or a cutter any direction possible.
Oh, yeah. No, Doc was an awesome guy. I mean, it was just someone that you could always talk to about anything and everything. And then, the second that you needed to turn it on, he'd let you know and teach you some good baseball. So, but teammate, I'd have to go with Caleb Berger of the San Francisco Giants. Me and him really hit it off in 19 with the Squirrels and stuff, and then we both went up to AAA together at the end. And just an awesome guy and awesome competitor that he is. And it's awesome to see his career take off. And same thing for him. I mean, he was not a big name prospect. Wasn't invited to big league camp last year. Kind of got that alternate training site thing. Turned the tables there. Turned some heads, and got called to the big leagues, and here he is, flourishing. So it's awesome to see for him, and he deserves it more than anyone. But yeah, he's probably the closest friend that I've made in baseball, and someone that we always stick close to.
So circling back to Doc Watson, got to ask a question. That guy has always been known for telling great stories. Did he ever tell you any of his Cincinnati Reds stories and Tom Browning, his roommate?
He may. I feel like he did. Is Tom Browning the Tom Browning that his son is Logan Browning?
I believe so.
Okay. I played with Logan growing up in Florida and stuff, so I remember his dad playing for the Reds.
Yep,
he's the one who threw like the no hitter. Yeah. That's him then. So, but no, I don't recall the Red stories.
Okay. Well, he definitely had a good story. I believe it was right before the no hitter happened that him and Browning were out late one night, and when they did room check, they were trying to get back in, and Browning actually got stuck coming in the bathroom window. And was hanging half in the window and half out the window. And when they wanted him to come to the thing, he had to yell from the bathroom that, he was taking a big shit. So they just kind of let it go. So when Doc went into the bathroom, he had to help pull Browning back through the window because he was hanging half in and half out and stuck in the actual window and couldn't get through. So one of the all-time classic stories I remember from Doc telling some of his good old Red stories back in the day.
That's too funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, leading up to a no-hitter, you can't beat that.
No, not at all. Another
one for you. Best minor league city you've played in? Worst minor league city you've played in?
There's a wide variety there.
Uh-huh.
I would have to say worst would be it was Vermont. It was the Vermont Lake Monsters up there, or the Batavia Muck Dogs. Those were two terrible places to play, just as far as the stadiums go. I mean, just super old, not updated. And then just the places you stay, the hotels and stuff were just, just something that you're not expecting going in the pro ball to stay in.
Batavia especially.
Yeah. Best ones would have to be probably Durham. Durham was awesome. I mean, they put you up right there next to the field. Great field, obviously known for Bull Durham and stuff, and then just everything around it is with walking distance and stuff. I was lucky enough to have my dogs and my wife there at the time, so we ended up going to a few hikes over there. So awesome hikes, and good little area to be in. So I'd say that's my best one I've played in so far.
Nice.
But I'm here in Frisco right now, and that it may top it, but
yeah,
we'll see.
All right. So bus rides. Now you had your FAEO 1 partner, but before you got into this bus rides, man, what's your take on those? I know we all have our stories from them.
Brutal. I luckily got to skip A-ball in the what league was it? The Midwest League. I heard those bus rides were brutal, especially for at the time I would have been with the Rays. Just the hours. I think the minimum hour was like 7 hours for the shortest bus ride.
Where were they based out of for the Midwest League?
Bowling Green.
Because I kind of live in the middle of that. I live right by Beloit, so the Snappers, which is the A's. So I grew up around here. I'm familiar with all those places, Cedar Rapids,
Okay.
all over the place. I've played at most of those as well. So yeah, some of those rides, brutal.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Penn League games. The Penn League rides were just as bad.
Yeah. Man, the bus rides. Up until this point, it's been tough. I mean, I'd say the worst year was AA with the Montgomery Biscuits.
Okay.
We had, you get one bus. It's cram packed. It was a newer guy there. Everyone's seat was already assigned pretty much, and then, you get stuck on the floor and you think the floor is going to be a good thing because, you get to sprawl out, but everyone's walking over you. Everyone, the floor ends up becoming hot because of the engine underneath. You just never know what you're going to run into, but, the overnight rides and stuff like that. That's kind of the first time I ever got to experience like overnight rides of, leaving the ballpark at 11 o'clock at night, getting in at 8 o'clock in the morning and playing a baseball game that day. Cause I'm not a sleeper on the bus. I can't sleep for anything, whether I take, sleeping pills or anything. It's just not going to happen. I think the thing for me is just always just not being comfortable or, I'm always a person that likes to be in control of my life.
Right.
So, if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and then all of a sudden the bus swerves, I'm wide awake, paying attention to what's going on, to my surroundings.
Yeah.
But, that probably comes to mind as far as the worst, for bus rides and stuff for me. But, having some of those older buses where the AC doesn't work or, being too crammed. I mean, I've been through it all, but I say the good thing already about this year, and the only thing that I could say good about COVID is minor league baseball and stuff is taking it into going from 1 bus to 3 buses per team.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a
you're
big
only,
change.
yeah, you're only, they're not sleeper buses, so that's all right, but you get 14 guys a bus, so that way it's spread out, a lot more comfortable. And then, instead of, 2 grown men sharing a hotel room and stuff, each guy gets their own room now. So it's kind of started to finally take part. So that's awesome. But,
yeah, that's also a big change. That's got to be nice.
yeah,
it's definitely really got to be nice.
It's off to a good start already, so hopefully it continues to stay this way for minor league baseball. Because I mean, before, making the first year rookie ball, you make $1,100, whatever, and then 2 grown men are sharing a room, and then you get $25 a day, and for being on the road, and then all that money goes to clubbies and all that stuff. I mean, it just makes it that much more unenjoyable.
Well, that's a big improvement from when I was there.
Yeah. No,
20 years ago, that first year was $950 and $15 a day on the road. So
yeah,
it's not a lot better, but it's better. So Shane Long asks, what's your favorite baseball themed movie?
I'm gonna have to go with the Rookie.
Nice.
That was one that I always grew up watching with Kevin Costner and everything, and that wasn't Kevin Costner, was it?
Nope.
No. I don't know why. Kevin Quaid, right?
Richard Quaid. Richard
Quaid.
Yeah. The Jim Morris story?
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking of Kevin Costner. But
because he's in almost every baseball movie.
Every other baseball movie there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always grew up watching that, so that was my favorite one that I still continue to watch to this day.
That's awesome. So DCS, favorite sunflower seed flavor?
I'm gonna have to go with dill pickle.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with dill pickle. Occasionally, I'll change it up to like a like a bacon ranch type of flavor, but I stick mostly to dill pickle.
Very nice. And I got corrected by everybody. It was Dennis Quaid. My bad there, guys.
Dennis.
Yes. So I failed on that one as well. Don't worry. We're allowed to fail on those. So last baseball question. I'll get back to some bourbon questions for you. So the best piece of advice you've ever been given by a coach or another player or your parents, the best piece of advice anybody gave you when it came to your career so far to this point?
I mean, it's kind of the one that I gave earlier. That's how it kind of came from, stemmed off of that is, through my dad being my coach, my brother being my coach, and then, now being a pro ball and, learning all of these guys and, what they have to say and stuff. It's, the same thing plays over and over. Just, go out there, have fun, compete, want to get better each day. But, most importantly, be a good teammate, because that's what everyone's going to remember in the end. They're not going to remember you for the things that you did on the field. They remember you for how you were, off the field and who you were as a teammate and a person. So, I really, that sticks to me the most. So.
Fantastic. So I'm going to get back onto the bourbon side of things and bring that back. So what's your everyday drinker? Everyday
drinker is a Buffalo Trace store pick. I try to collect those as much as I can this off season. Luckily, I went down to Florida quite a bit. My dad lives in Beaufort, Georgia, so I know a couple stores around there. And then obviously Nashville is a big market for all of that. So I've been lucky to collect 5 or 6 to have for the decanter and stuff. But yeah, that's my go-to for sure.
Very nice. And just to reiterate to everybody, Brandon not only is a current AA pitcher in the Houston Astros system, he is also on Instagram and a bourbon enthusiast. And you can find him at Major League Bourbon on Instagram. Make sure you guys go over, follow him, have some good conversations with him. He's deep in this bourbon game just like us, as you'll quickly find out as I ask a couple more questions here.
Oh, yeah.
But he's deep in the game with us. So you've talked about what your everyday pour is. What is your current unicorn bottle?
I finally got to collect the George T. Stagg 2020. I've gotten the Old Carter 12-year single barrel. I've got the HD barrel proof. Those are probably my 3 unicorns, but my most favorite out of those 3 is definitely the HD barrel proof. It just tastes like liquid candy. It's so sweet, and it's just definitely my favorite. There's another like sleeper bottle, lower level bottle that puts right up to it that I just had tried out and stuff. That's pretty close to it, but the HD barrel proof is my unicorn for now.
So what is that sleeper bottle?
It is the Bourbon Finds latest pick of Nulu, Toasted Hulk, that he had put out.
Is that the red one or the green one?
It's the red one, the toasted bourbon. That goes right like macho with the HD barrel proof for me. Just super sweet, just like a dessert in your mouth. So
that's awesome. So Richie Z asks, what is your special occasion bottle?
I think for me, being so new into it still, I think, out of my 50 or 60 bottle collection that I've made already, I'd say the special occasion would be the George T. Stagg 2020. Getting into it all, you're in it for all the names and stuff. I feel like, everyone's after a Pappy and all that type of stuff. But as you learn a little bit more about it, I feel like it doesn't always play that way. It's not always the names that, make a great bourbon. I've heard, really bad things out of Pappy, and I've heard, some good things and stuff. But yeah, I'd say for now, the George T. Stagg 2020 is would be my special occasion bottle.
Now, on that note, when you got the call and you got back in, did you have a pour of the Stag?
I had a pour of the Stag that night, but I also had I had made a post earlier in our little bourbon social group here in Nashville that I had found this cool little bottle from Cooperstown Distillery, and it's the baseball bottle. So it just yeah, you got it.
I've got one too. Every baseball player's got this bottle. Gotta have this bad boy. The Abner Doubleday bottle.
Yep. So I had made a little post and stuff, kind of like hyping the whole process up to say, once I get back into pro baseball, this is going to be the bottle that I pop open that day, saying that I got back in and I made it. So whether the juice is that great or not in it, it was just more that like meant the bottle meant to me at that point than what was inside of it. I mean, it's still good juice and everything, but it was just more like kind of putting that expectation on the bottle and then finally getting it able to open it up. Once I got that call. So.
So, on that note, what would be, say, a surprising bottle to everyone? One bottle that you have that's probably not a go-to for anybody else, but it fits your palate and fits your go-to that you would say probably isn't on everybody's shelf. Mine would be JTS Brown 100 proof, very underrated Heaven Hill product.
Yep.
I think that's a great score. I get them here for about $14.99, and I think it can hang with some of the better everyday hitters or even that mid to upper level bourbon, depending on what it is, or in some thoughts and circles.
Oh yeah. I've a lot of those like small boys, play up with the big boys and stuff. I was able to get some JTS Brown up in Kentucky and everything, because I don't think it's a Nashville market, or it's very hard to get in the Nashville market. But for me, I would say probably like the Old Granddad 114. Plays up, especially with me being a higher proof guy. But there's one from a distillery over in Sevierville, King's Family Distillery. I like high proof, especially some of those light whiskeys and stuff, and this will throw some of you off. But the King's Family 14-year MGP light whiskey coming at a 140 proof hazmat. That's kind of one of the surprising ones that I have on my shelf that I think that a lot of people don't. Being a littler distillery and stuff, still, I mean, they're newer. But something
what distillery did you say that was?
King's Family Distillery. They're over there in like Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area, over in Tennessee. Super, super tasty bottle. Like I said, 14-year MGP. But just full of flavor, and the 140 plays down because of the high corn content. Right. So it drinks like a 115, 120, and I've been passing that bottle around to all my friends and some of these stores and stuff like that, giving them a try, so that way I can see it around Nashville more. And everyone's giving me really good feedback on that.
See, the one for a lot of us here in the bourbon community, as if you looked at the chat, everybody's already looking up that distillery that you just talked about. For us, the one we've been chasing, which is either a 13 or 14 year, depending on what they get in at the time of MGP corn whiskey, is from Cat's Eye Distillery, which is based out of Davenport, Iowa, and they put out the Obtainium. I have a bottle of that that's 147.8. So definitely doesn't drink that hot. Drinks hot, but it's a butterscotch bomb for days, and it's amazingly good. It's fun to hear that there's another one out there doing that. And I'm gonna ask you this: Are you part of the minor league and major league baseball bourbon group?
I don't know if I am or not.
Well, I'm gonna have to get you in there. It's called Barreled Up. Just did.
Okay, yeah.
Are you in there?
I just got added the last week from Hunter Morris. Hunter Morris in there.
Yep.
So Yep.
Yeah, because we're doing some fun picks there. We just did an Obtainium pick for that one that we called the first round draft pick. So we definitely need you in that group, giving some good feedback and contributing there. There's only a few guys that really talk a lot in there, so it'd be nice to get another guy in there, especially one that's actually still playing, because most of us in there are past our career, or the other ones that are still in there. We have a couple guys who are still trainers that are in the group that, man, those guys come across some great stuff traveling all over the country. So that's another thing you got going for you. You're always in different areas, not like the rest of us stationed in one place.
That's something I'm looking forward to. I mean, going to Corpus Christi and stuff, I heard Texas is a big weather state and stuff. And I had actually talked to the head Buffalo Trace marketing director, Josh Steely. I had met him this off season and stuff, and I was talking to him about like Texas and being able to find certain things and stuff. And he said you're gonna be able to find some Wellers and stuff. So I went out to Total Wine when I first got here, and Weller's just sitting on the shelf, just green label, but it was nice to see Weller just sitting on the shelf for once. I mean, I got a Weller 1.75, WSR for $39.
They can't go wrong with that.
No, but it was cool. It was cool too. Is that like 2 days later, I hear Elmer T. Lee came out, and I missed it at that store. It was something I was searching for, but hopefully we'll come around it. I mean, first day here in Frisco and stuff, I had to make my way to Total Wine here and see. I mean, the bourbon hunt gets you. I feel like everywhere you go, you're always searching for a liquor store just to see if you can find, just one. But
the hunt's what it's all about. It's more. I almost think some days it's more fun hunting it than it is tasting it. But tasting it at the end of the day is a lot better than hunting it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. What's the craziest thing you've seen on the shelf that you never expected to find on a shelf? That wasn't behind the counter or a handoff.
It was probably the Jack Daniel's Special Release Rye. I had saw that on the shelf. It was a little bit over MSRP at $90, but I had to grab it. I just walked into one of the local liquor stores by me before a baseball workout in the morning. I was, I knew I was passing it at 9 a.m. So I'm like, you know what, let's stop and end up finding that, and come to be it's one of the most prized bottles of the year so far, and it packs a punch, and it's a great rye, that's for sure. But
it definitely is.
That's probably the only one I've really been able to find on the shelf that I didn't think I would. But yeah, so
nice. What's something that you said Weller, of course, but what's something else that you're looking for that isn't on that big hitter level, but is something that you can't find in your local area that you really wish you just hopefully come across here while you're out traveling the road, besides the Weller, of course?
I mean, I venture all over the place. I always like to find like a little caribou crossing. Those are fun to find. You don't find those too often. Some of these, Maker's Mark, like limited releases and stuff, would be nice to see. Definitely some higher up EH Taylors, sticking in that Buffalo Trace family. But that's all that comes to mind right now. I mean, I'm not too picky. I kind of, I don't stick to ryes. I don't stick to, lights or anything like that. I, venture all over the place. Kind of always just keeping up. So I'm still new, so I'm kind of just keeping up with, what's hot at the moment and kind of seeing from there, like whether it's, a go or not. So, keep my eye open on some of these groups and, go from there.
Very good. So this year, what's leading the way right now for your call for Rookie of the Year for your pick on bourbon or rye?
I'd probably stick more to rye. Uh, but are you asking like which one of them all?
Mm-hmm. Which one that you've had this year, new to you? Which one's leading the way as your number one of the year?
I'd say definitely that Jack Daniel's special release rye. I mean, it's in everyone's like top 5 ryes of the year. I was
Mm-hmm.
lucky enough. I was lucky enough to grab that one at the store. But then on January 8th, I called a few days earlier. I called Jack Daniel's because I had heard word that it was going to be dropping at Jack Daniel's, and so I call. They say, yeah, we're getting 30 cases on January 8th. Releasing it when we open. 30 cases were gone in Lynchburg by 12 p.m. I mean, that's crazy for people to go down to Lynchburg to go get that. So I missed out on that. And then just probably like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I heard word from some of the Tennessee Squires that they got an email saying it was coming back. The last batch of it, or not batch, but the last round of the drop off was going. So I had made my way down there and ended up taking my mom with me, so that way I could get 2 of them. So put them in the bunker, so that way I was able to finally start drinking my first one instead of babying it.
Yeah, so. I know a lot of people that are still out there chasing it, hoping they come across one randomly. Yeah. Like that. That's how mine was. I was at my daughter's basketball tournament out in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and she needed some aspirin. I went to the grocery store, was walking through the checkout, and it was sitting right behind the desk at the checkout. And I was like,
"Oh yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it." Yeah, I couldn't go wrong. I ended up getting it for $56, so that was a score on top of it.
Yeah, that's even cheaper at the distillery. The distillery, I think, was $80 out the door.
Oh man, yeah, definitely way cheaper. My funny takeaway from that one was, they had the Jack Daniel's sitting back there with Crown Royal Peach next to it on both sides. So
that's too funny.
Definitely cracked me up on that, and I was very glad to get it.
Yeah.
So everybody that's in here, if you don't know or haven't done it, make sure you go over to Instagram, follow Brandon at Major League Bourbon. And Bourbon mentioned earlier, we need to try to get Brandon over here on YouTube doing some lives as well, not just on Instagram, so we can have him involved with everything over here. We'll see if we can work that out. I'll get you on some more shows with some other guys here. It'd be a good time. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, as you continue this journey, you're going to meet a lot of fun people, a lot of great people in this group. Hopefully some of these guys go follow you on the Instagram. You get to follow them back, get to know some of them, because like I'm telling you, this community is absolutely amazing. And it just gets better every day. It is. It really is. Like I said, it's like having that clubhouse away from baseball again. It brought it all back for me. I love everything about it. And, just getting to have guys like you or other former major league players and former minor league players on the show, so we can peel back a little bit of the baseball curtain for everyone, yet still talk a little bourbon. It's been amazing. It's a great getaway for me, and I absolutely enjoy it. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time in the middle of your season to sit down and talk with us tonight.
No, this is awesome. I appreciate you guys, having me and taking the time for this and stuff. And it's, it's been fun chatting with y'all, and, looking forward to, following you guys and following everyone else who, follows me and everything, see where it all goes. So I'm just,
for sure
having fun with it. So
that's awesome. Well, Brandon, I want to say thank you for coming out tonight. Like I said, I appreciate it. I'm going to be in touch with you. I'll send you some messages. I'm going to take and send you out some samples of some different stuff, share back and forth as we do here in the community. And like I said, I've got some other things coming up, and I'd like to get you back on with everybody so we can talk, and maybe we can get you out here for an event in the off season that we're kind of putting on that would fit in for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for coming out for another episode of Big League Bourbon. Thanks to our guest, Brandon Lawson. We wish you the best on the upcoming season, well, the current season, and in the future. And we look forward to following you on your journey over at Major League Bourbon on Instagram. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks to everyone else for coming on out.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.